Hi everyone, Magic Flying Potato here. Hope you are doing well. So yesterday, the developers of Grounded on their Twitch stream gave us some information about what we should expect for the new update coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over the information that some key points that I took from that live stream. So on April 23rd, they're going to be at PAX East in Boston, and they are going to be showcasing their new content. They will be live streaming this, so they did not specifically say that the update was going to drop on the 23rd of April, but they are going to showcase the new content. So you might put some ends together and think that they may be dropping the update in and around at that time frame, but they did not say that they were doing it. So, but usually that's the way it works when they give us a date frame like that. So maybe something to look forward to, and you could also find them on that live stream at the PAX East. If you go over to that website, I'll link that below. They are really working on closing the early access by the end of the year, so we will see a few more updates as they mentioned, but they are really working hard to close the early access and give us the full release before the end of the year. One of the things that they were talking about is fixes to combat. They're really tweaking combat from our feedback. So here are a couple things that they did mention that they are working on. They are working on how weapon damage is being done across the board. So again, there's going to be some tweaks to it. Everybody won't be happy, but it happens. They are working on tweaking stamina during combat as well, as a lot of people give them feedback. Stamina is one of the things that there have been complaints about that they want to see changed in combat. So they are tweaking that as well. So we will see some of that being changed. Weapon durability, item durability. Everybody has hated the new durability update that was done. So they are going to work at fixing it, tweaking it, doing whatever. So hopefully our gear will not break as quickly. Armor upgrades is another big one. They did not really talk much about armor upgrades. All they were saying that is armor upgrades is going to work differently than the way we upgrade our weapons. So they didn't mention much about it. They just says that they're looking at a different route for armor upgrades compared to weapon upgrades. So that's something that we can look forward to in the upcoming update. Options adjustments. So with the change of custom settings, they are going to go ahead and do some changes that we can make in games, in our current games. So this deals with the custom settings. As of right now, the custom settings, you have to start a new game in order to make any adjustment on custom settings. And once you start that game, they are locked in. So what they are doing now is some of the custom settings, they are going to change so we can make adjustments within our current games or within current new games. We can turn them on and off. They said with the way the game runs, they said that they won't be able to change everything. So we won't be able to change all the custom settings in the game. They're working on making a few of those settings available for us. Game difficulty. This has been one that everybody's been talking about since the beginning of the game. Why can't we change game difficulty within our current games? They are making this change. So if you started off at a new setting, easy setting, and you want to go to normal setting, or if you want to go to normal to low or low back, we will be able to make these adjustments within our current games. So that is something everybody's been asking for since the beginning, and they're going to go ahead and implement that. That is awesome right there. Base raids. So they've teased on base raids once again, bringing it back. I know it was in the game for a short period of time, and then they removed it. They have not really told us much about base raids. They are looking at it. They are working on it. They're trying to see how they can implement it so it works correctly, I guess you could say. Again, it is a work in progress. So I'm not sure how it will work against our bases, because a lot of people have bases that are built up high where the bugs do not go or cannot get to. One of my subscribers mentioned, well, what about bee and mosquito raids, airborne raids? That might be something they would have to implement, because again, people building up on rocks and stuff where bugs can't get, raids won't really be an issue. They're also talking about new defenses. really, again, did not mention much about them, but they are saying it is a work in progress. So it was a teaser, but not a lot of information was given to us about this portion of the update or what they are working on for base raids. So storyline changes. The developer said they are working on the critical path at the beginning of the game of the way the storyline is. So they are making tweaks to the initial storyline and changes to the initial storyline. So as these updates progress, the storyline at the beginning of the game is going to be changing. So they say it flows better into the game, and it will lead into the later game type stuff. And with that said, they're trying not to do it so we have to do a new game start when the final release comes out. But for me, we're early access, so I know things have changed and stuff. For me, I know once the game does release full access, when the game fully release, I am starting from beginning, even though I have some huge bases. You got to get the full feel of the game from the beginning. So for the storyline changes, I think it's cool that they're doing it to make it flow better and to just lead it into further into the game. Another big thing that they are working on is Muller's, the Science Shop, and Burgle Quest. You no longer have to go back to the Oak Tree to turn those into Burgle. You're going to be able to turn them in at any of the research stations. So they say that will help with the flow of the game as well, so we don't constantly have to keep running back to the Oak Tree to do everything. That will also maybe change the way players build their bases. A lot of bases, I know I took a poll, a lot of bases are built around the Oak Tree just for that reason. So this may change the way where players are putting their bases at. They're also reworking the bug AI, the way the bugs act in the world. They're working on changing up that, tweaking the way bugs act and react. And they're also working on a guide to show us bug strength and weaknesses. Right now, there are strength and weaknesses of bugs, but they are going to work on a manual or something like that, like a monster manual that will show us strength and weaknesses. Something that they're playing around with, so we'll see what they come up with that. Spoiler alert. They said it's going to be very light on content, so don't expect a lot of new stuff coming out. Like it did in the Hot and Hazy update. That was a huge update. But like the Into the Wood update, very light on content. They said that this one is going to be light on content. The reason why is this update is going to be revisions based. They are working on tweaks and changes, small tweaks and changes within the current game setup. So that's what this update is mainly going to be focused on. They are really wanting our feedback so they can give us what we're asking for a lot of times. So with that, it's like, I know during live streams I have done people where we've talked about the mutations. We would love to see or have passive mutations. Some of these mutations don't need to be constantly clicked and unclicked. The exploring mutations, the grass cutting or rock breaking mutations, they should become passive mutations, something that we don't have to constantly keep clicking back and forth on. Now, combat mutations, I get it. Change them up before combat, or even being able to have a hot swap key or something, presets. That's what type of feedback they're wanting. So they're wanting to hear from us so they can see what we're asking for and go off of that. Huge one right here. I've been saying this for a while is I've been saying I hope they're just holding back on something for us, because the last update wasn't big. They are saving big content for release. So they're holding back on us. They're sandbagging. They got the ace up their sleeve, and when they finally release the game, we're all going to see some new things that we have never saw before, and I am really excited for that, which is awesome as well, because a lot of us have been playing for a while. There are people that have stepped away from the game because there's really nothing new. This will bring back a lot of players and definitely be awesome to see. I can't wait for the release and see what they have in store for us for this big hidden content. I'm excited for it. And with that, I mean, they really that is pretty much the important information they gave. They talked about some other things, but very sketchy about what type of information they were putting out. Him hauling over some of the things, some of the questions that were asked, would not answer questions. So yeah, this is the key information that I took from the live stream yesterday. And like them, they want feedback. I want your feedback. What do you guys want to see in the game? Maybe we could put a list together, make a list, and go ahead and give them the feedback from stuff that we'd like to see. So go ahead and leave your questions and comments below. I always love getting your questions and comments. And as always, you guys have a great time out there exploring your backyards. You guys have fun with the journey, because that's what makes it so fun, is just getting there. And I am Magic Flying Potato, and you guys have a great one. I am Oot.